Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. So this is part two. Part one, was last week, where I kind of told you about the backstory, about how I got into the medical field, my desire to go into the medical field, and then kind of like my undergrad experience. So I'd encourage you to go back to watch that video if you haven't already, to get caught up on this one. So first, I just want to say something that I did not mention in the last video. And when I was talking about my grades and how in undergrad they were poor, to be exact, I think I had like a 2.5 or 2.4. It was that bad. Like I dropped that low. But that's okay because I'm here now. So yeah. It was another shocker when I went to go pledge, and my GPA, I think the minimum at the time was like a 2.7 or 2.8. I can't remember what it was, but either way it go, I was not there. And so I went to go pledge for Zeta, and they were like, "Nah, how are we supposed to represent scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood if you got this GPA? Like, no, we have standards because Zetas, we are notorious for quality over quantity." So yeah. That was another thing when I got denied for that, and I was like, no, but I want to pledge, I want to be a Zeta. So I really worked, got my GPA up for the next line, and here I am, devilly as ever. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because I felt like that was something that was important to share. That was a part of my journey. So going back to working in the pharmacy, because that's where I ended off, I believe. Worked in the pharmacy 5 years. And when I got into work into the pharmacy, I thought that that's where God wanted me to be, because I was there 5 years. It was destined to me. It was like, this girl came up to me in the money center and was like, "Do you want to work at the pharmacy?" Like, I felt like all my steps were in line. So naturally, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm meant to be a pharmacist. Took the PCAT and didn't do that well. I applied to many schools. I cannot remember how many, but it was a lot of schools that I applied to and a lot of money that was spent. Denied. Didn't even get an interview. Didn't even get a call. In fact, I don't even think I was important enough to send a rejection letter. No, I'm playing. I don't remember. But still, again, I still had this thought in my mind that that's where I needed to be. Applied again. Second time. Nothing. Third time I applied. No. The fourth time, I applied 4 times. Okay, just put it that way. I took the PCAT and applied 4 times. And I think with each study method, as I was studying for the PCAT, there were minor changes. So that's a little mistake on my behalf because I really didn't make that many changes. I basically was carrying the same study habits that I had from high school to undergrad to now professional school. And it showed. It really showed. The only change that I really made was when the 4th time that I applied, I actually studied with someone that I knew who was applying for dental school. And so we would just study together. So it's not like we studied together in silence. We didn't study together, but it was more in silence, and just to have that, hey, we're both going through this at the same time. We're struggling. Let's, just be there for one another during these hard times while studying 8 hours a day. So I'd say that was the only change that I really made during that time. The 4th time that I applied, I actually applied to fewer schools. I was starting to learn, okay, you don't need to apply to so many schools, because I also didn't realize or take into account that schools really do look at your prerequisites. And to me, it was just like, oh, I'm a certified pharmacy tech. I already got an in. I know kind of what's going on a little bit. They're going to want me. That's going to surpass anything. Nah. That was kind of like my mindset. It was a dumb mindset to have. Do not be like me, because they absolutely look at those things. But yeah, I applied to 4 schools. I did not hear back from any school initially. And so I was already defeated. I'm like, all right, this is the 4th time. I done spent so much money. I didn't study. I'm tired of studying. At this point, I just need to be in school somewhere. So I was like, okay, before I even applied, I told myself, you have a plan A, which is applying to pharmacy school, and you have a plan B. My plan B, I heard about through actually one of my line sisters. She wanted to be a medical technologist at one point in time. Actually, I think she went to school for it for a little bit. She did go to school for it for a little bit, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Working in a lab, I loved microbiology, so that's probably like the only science that I liked in college was micro. But yeah, so I applied. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to apply to a couple of schools. Actually, I only applied to one medical technology school in University of Tennessee Health Science Center in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I applied, and that's actually where I got accepted. Because I think it was when I applied, I had applied like February, and I think their early deadline was like March or April, and their late deadline was June because the program started in August. So I applied. I wound up getting accepted, getting ready to go to school. Y'all, I think it was like July, and I got a call from Union University somewhere in Tennessee. I can't remember where it is, but it's somewhere in Tennessee. And they were like, hey, we have a seat open. Would you like to come? So, of course, that was my plan A. But me, in the heart that I have, in not liking to disappoint others, and that's honestly, truly where this came from for me, is I told them no. Because I didn't want to let the school that I had already accepted, paid my deposit, I didn't want them down. Want to let them down because, I don't know. Why am I like this? I don't know why I'm like this. I hate it, but it's a good thing, I guess. So I told them no, and I wound up going to med tech school, moving to Memphis, and going to med tech school. Yeah. Which is weird because I mean, even though that was my plan A, and the fact that I still told them no, I mean, it just says a lot about what God already had in store for me. He knew that was going to happen. He knew what he was doing. All those rejections, and then I applied to my plan B school, get accepted. It's only one school that I applied to, mind you. I didn't have to do anything additional because the program that I went to, it was 2 tracks, bachelor's or master's. And because I already had a bachelor's, I wound up going the master route. So I'm like, okay, what's the extra 3 months? Like, I'm already here because you essentially take the same classes for the bachelor's portion and the master's portion. It's just that the bachelor's were done in May, and I had to do research over the summer, and I was done in August. I didn't graduate till December, but I was done in August. All of us, in fact, graduated in December. Together. Walked together. But yeah, the fact that like God had all of that aligned, he knew I was going to say no. And he knew that they was going to come back. And he knew that I was going to say no. Like, it's that man. But no. So yeah, that's that part between pharmacy and then med tech school. That's my post-bac, what I would consider, what is my post-bac. I just feel like, honestly, for being a PA right now, everything that I've done has prepared me, or I've brought along with me, like pharmacy background. Like when I tell you I knew almost every drug on that shelf between brand name and generic name at the time. It's been a couple years, but a lot of them I still know. And I feel like that really helped me when we was doing pharmacology in PA school. And then medical technology, working in the lab, like literally almost everything I learned in medical technology school, literally everything I learned in PA school. It was just to a deeper depth. Medical technology program that I went to is it the number one? I know it's a very highly esteemed school. Like, is it number one? I know it's the oldest in Tennessee, but I can't remember. I know for a fact that like if you mess up anything in that program on your rotations or anything, like everybody knew everybody, and it's like you better not mess up because we know everybody and we will ruin your reputation for when you go to work and blah blah blah, whatever. They're that like that high on the list, on the ranking. But yeah, for me to be accepted into that school, and then it's just, all God, because I truly do feel like every avenue, every path, every journey that you take is all leading up to a bigger destination and a bigger journey. Like, nothing is for granted. Nothing is just because. It's all for a reason. So I just find that so amazing, and that my journey to get here, even though it didn't go the way that I wanted or the way that I tried to force it to be, I'm here now, and that's all that matters. And I truly did enjoy my journey. I feel like one of the things that I love about myself is the fact that I'm so resilient. I literally love learning from my mistakes and from my failures, because that is how I grow. That is, like, I thrive on that, because I don't like disappointing myself, disappointing others, and I don't like to fail. I mean, I like to fail because I learn from it, but that pushes me harder because I don't like to fail. Like, it's like a love-hate relationship. But yeah, so after medtech school, I worked for 3 years in Memphis, stayed in Memphis, and one of my other friends was like, Shaniqua, let's apply for the MCAT, because we had talked about it before. Applying to medical school, taking the MCAT to apply to medical school. And so I listened to her, because honestly, while I loved working in the lab, and I still would work in the lab to this day because I really truly did love it, I honestly felt like, I don't want to say this in like the wrong way, but I honestly felt like sometimes I felt like somebody's bottom B. And I don't cuss, but that, like, why you gotta talk to people like that? And that's what I don't like. Like, if there was, honestly, let me go back. When I was on rotations at one point in time, I was on a micro rotation in Nashville. This is my first summer of micro rotation, because we had, it was a 2-year program. I was, doing my thing. I'm just training. I mean, I'm just shadowing, basically, and learning. And a doc came down there, and the way that he spoke to some of the other medical technologists, like, disregard for feelings, disregard for just like how you supposed to talk to somebody. Like, the way that he talked to them, I knew at that point that I was not going to be in this field forever, because I will not allow someone to speak to me any type of way that they can. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care if you a doctor, a lawyer, if you are VP, you're not going to talk to me any type of way. Like, that's what's not going to happen. I knew from a very, very early part of that program that I was not going to be there forever, because I was not about to deal with that. In order to protect myself, protect my feelings, and just, it was not gonna happen. It was not gonna happen. So yeah, I finished the program though, because I'm like, I like to finish things that I set my mind to, and I knew that there was a bigger end goal, once again, in hand, so I kept going. And it was a master's, so I was like, I already got a bachelor's, I got a master's, okay. I mean, I'm going for a master's, okay, here I am. I worked for 3 years. Actually, I worked for 4 years, because I started part-time while I was in school. One of the hospitals I actually worked at after I graduated, brought some of us on as students, and I just stayed after a student. So back to my friend, she wanted to apply to medical school, and we had talked about it before. Kind of like, I think it was like before we graduated. She knew that she didn't want to do it either, so we studied for the MCAT. Studied a little bit harder than I did for the PCAT this time. By the way, before I get into that, in order for me to get the master's, usually you have to take the GRE. No, I did have to take GRE. I had to take the GRE for that master's program. But I think I took it like before the school. I can't remember what I took it for, but I took the GRE. I I think it was during school. Yeah, I took it like a year in, to the program. We had to apply for the master's program. You had to have taken the GRE. So I took it like the beginning of the year after I started. But, and then, so all in all, I've taken the PCAT, I've taken the GRE, I've taken the MCAT. I would never wish the MCAT on anybody. That is such a long test. Why y'all got a 7-hour test like that? For what reason? They know what they doing. Anyway, we studied for that test, day and night. And honestly, it was a little different than me studying for the PCAT, but it was almost one and the same, because I don't know if I just wasn't feeling it, and it had organic chemistry on there. Y'all remember my organic chemistry story? Like, why they gonna be on what am I gonna use this? Why do we need that? Why do we need to know that? If I was going to get my PhD or something like that, then yes, I can understand, but Kim, physics? Oh. So I took physics. I took physics 1 twice and physics 2 once. Didn't need it for any of my programs. For medical school, I did. I think that's why I took it in undergrad, was because I was still teetering medical school, or like becoming a doctor. I did go to medical school. All of it's medical school, but the aspect of being a physician. Just thinking about physics. This is probably like 3 things I remember from physics. But anyway, I'm digressing a lot, but I can't help it. Y'all need to know my whole story. If I'm gonna tell the story, I'm gonna tell the story. But no. Yeah, so we studied for the MCAT. I have a bunch of books still to this day, because I'm a book hoarder. Even from undergrad, I have books. I'm a book hoarder. So we took the MCAT. I don't remember what I made on it. I think it was like a 490 or 495 or something like that. I can't remember. It wasn't good enough. And I applied to so many medical schools once again, spending so much money. Because you got to think about it. Like, you have to pay for the application fees. And then, like, that's a lot. Like, I feel like I applied to like 18 schools, medical schools. I applied to so many schools. I think it was well over $1,000 to $2,000. Like, I wasted so much money on, like, yes, it's an investment in myself, but looking back at it, like, you have to really pay attention to the prerequisites that they want, not just, I want to apply here, I want to apply here. I think I did look at the prerequisites at some point, but not good enough. I still had the mentality like, that's just one little thing. They're going to excuse it. There are other things that are going to outweigh it. Who am I to tell the program that they're going to outweigh my things, or that little piece is insignificant? What might be insignificant to me was significant for them. So, yeah, I didn't apply again the next year. Or did I? This is so long ago. So, did I apply the next year? No, I don't think I applied the next year. She did. I did not, because that MCAT took me out, and that's what it was. I would have had to retake the MCAT if I wanted to get my scores up. Was not happening. Absolutely not. Nope. Was not happening. So, yeah, and then I was on the fence about, okay, well, I want to be a clinician, but if I'm not going to be a physician, what am I going to be? So it was PA or nurse practitioner. And so I spent some months actually trying to decide PA, nurse practitioner. So I wanted to be a nurse practitioner if I could be a midwife, because I want to deliver the babies. Even though I wasn't taking care of the babies, I still liked women's health and wanted to deliver the babies and work in women's health. But when I was looking at Vanderbilt, they had a midwife and family medicine like together, combined. So because again, I didn't want to just work with the mom. I want to work with the mom and the baby. And if I had like the family medicine aspect, then I'd be able to do both. So yeah, and then after outweighing my pros and my cons, I chose PA, and here I am. I chose PA because no need for re-education. I literally like almost majority every field. No need for re-education. I can move fields whenever I want. Work-life balance. The pay is still decent. Laterality. Laterality without the need for re-education. Still be a clinician, just not that high of a responsibility. Yes, I have responsibilities, but I don't have like the responsibility of being and attending and overseeing like other people. And it's less stressful, I feel like. So that is part 2 of my PA school journey. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more of everything that I have to bring to you about PA life, PA school, and then my life as a working PA mom of a toddler and a teenager, and life, travel, beauty, all the good stuff. Talk to you later. Bye for now.